Yesterday we have talked about Young's experiment on coherent sources and interference. Now let's see the condition for constructive and destructive interference, or we can say that condition for getting maximum and minimum intensity. So for that, as you know that for the interference, coherent sources are must. I've already told you the condition to get interference. Then if the sources are coherent, then definitely the frequency of waves will be equal. So for the calculation, let suppose there are two light waves which are traveling with the same with constant phase difference phi. Means one has phase difference 0 and other has phase difference, one has phase phi 0 and other has phi. So there will be the phase difference of phi between them, and their frequency is same. So I take that omega. So we can write an equation of displacement of individual light waves as y1 equal to a sin omega t, y2 equal to b sin omega t plus phi. So after superposition, what will the resultant displacement? We can easily find out it by superposition principle. So what is the superposition principle? It is individual sum of the individual displacements, algebraic sum, you know, and I am taking the both waves propagating in the same direction. That's why it will be simply sum of the displacements of individual light waves. So y1 plus y2, what put down the values of it and solve it sin a plus b form. So after solving sin a plus b form, you will get here sin omega t into cos phi plus cos omega t into sin phi. Then after that, take common to sin omega t and put all the things in bracket, then that will be a plus b cos phi and plus cos omega t into b sin phi. Now again, let us introduce a new quantity r sin theta and r cos theta equal to r sin theta equal to b sin phi and r cos theta equal to a plus b cos phi. Since you know that a and b are constants, so we can easily replace this angle phi from the new angle, where r is resultant amplitude of light wave after superposition and theta is resultant phase of the light wave after superposition. So from this equation, we can find out the displacement of resultant wave, which will be r sin omega t plus theta. This is also a form of harmonic wave, means after the superposition of light wave, we will again get a light wave which will traveling forward in the direction. Clear, I think. Now come to this point. On squaring and adding these two equations, we will get the value of r square sin theta plus r square cos theta. You will get r square and equal to this term. Now again put and solve this equation easily. It's very easy. Firstly square both equation, then add both equation from left side and from right side, then you will get this equation r equal to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi. Now from this equation, we can determine maximum amplitude and minimum amplitude of light. What will be the maximum amplitude? It will depends on the factor phi, means phase of light wave, or phase difference of light wave, you can say it. Since here a and b are the amplitudes of individual light waves and it's constant, so definitely if there will be change in phi, then there will be change in resultant amplitude. So now for the maximum value of phi, that will be phi equal to plus 1. So for phi equal to plus 1, the equation will be a square plus b square plus 2ab, and the again the formula will be a plus b whole square, and after solving we will get r maximum equal to a plus b. Hence maximum amplitude is simply the sum of amplitude of individual waves. And what will be the minimum amplitude? For the minimum amplitude, we have to put the minimum value of cos phi, which will be -1, not 0, which will be -1. So after putting -1, we will get a square plus b square minus 2ab, and the equation will come in this form, a minus b. So the minimum amplitude is simply the difference between amplitudes of individual light waves. Now as we have amplitude of resultant wave, we can easily derive intensity of resultant wave, which will be equal to kr square. As you know that intensity is directly proportional to amplitude square, then on removal directionality sign, we will get a constant here k. Sorry. After putting value of r square in this, we will get this. And if you will put I have told you, coherent and incoherent addition of light in that equation, you will easily find out this equation. I will again show you. I am going to show it. Don't worry. As I1 equal to k, a square, I2 equal to kb square. So you can write I equal to k a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi h. K square is I1, kb square is I2, plus you can also determine the value of a from here, which will be root I by k. So we can write root I1 by k into root I2 by k, and finally this will be cos phi. Clear? Or we can write I1 plus I2 plus 2 times root I1 I2. Suppose the value of k is 1 here, so we will get finally this equation. Clear? Or you have not to suppose, actually we will multiply k here, sorry for that. We will multiply k here, then definitely k will be put down. This will be the root k, this will be root k. Okay? Now I think it's clear. So this is the equation for resultant intensity after the superposition of two light waves simply in Young's experiment, and we can easily calculate maximum and minimum intensity from here. So what will be the maximum intensity and minimum intensity? See this formula. As you know that for maximum intensity, cos phi must be plus 1. It means you can also write it for maxima. Maximum intensity is also called maxima in the case of interference. So for maximum cos phi equal to plus 1, or if you put the general value of phi, then it will comes to be 2n pi. Clear? I think. Where the value of n is 0, 1, 2 and so on. Means for the value of simply 0, for the value of 2 pi, for the value of 4 pi, 6 pi, the value of cos pi is plus 1. And for this we will get I equal to, if we will put down, then definitely we will get k a square plus b square plus 2ab, and finally it will be ka plus b ka whole square. Clear? This is the maximum intensity obtained in any interference in a Young slit experiment. Clear? And also we can write the condition for the maxima from here, which is phi equal to 2n pi, or this is the phase of the phase between the waves, and you can also write wave path difference from here, which will be, as you know that the relation between phase difference and path difference is x equal to lambda upon 2 pi into phi. So put the value of phi here, 2n pi, you will get n lambda, or we can also write it 2n into lambda by 2, where value of n is 0, 1, 2 and so on. This is the condition for getting constructive interference or maxima in case of interference of light in Young's double slit experiment, which is even multiple of lambda by 2 or simply integral multiple of lambda, where the value of n is 0, 1, 2 and so on, and the maximum intensity in this case will be obtained as Ka plus B whole square. Think clear? Similarly, we can find out minima or destructive interference in case of Young's double slit experiment as since you know that to obtain minimum intensity cos phi should be minus 1, it means I will be K a square plus b square minus 2ab, and it will be a minus b whole square. This is minimum intensity obtained in double slit experiment. This is the intensity of dark fringe in the Young double slit experiment, and also we can write the condition for minima from here, which is, since you know that cos phi equal to minus 1, so we can write the general. So we were saying that the minimum intensity is Ka minus b whole square. Now the condition for minima is cos phi equal to minus 1, and the general value of phi for this is 2n minus 1 into pi, where the value of n is 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. If we will put then pi, we will get pi and 5 pi, such types of value, for which cos phi, the value of cos phi is minus 1. So definitely we can also find out path difference, which will be lambda upon 2 pi into phase difference, and after calculating we will get 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. This is the condition for getting destructive interference or minima in case of Young's double slit experiment, which is simply odd multiple of lambda by 2. For maxima, for constructive interference, the condition is even multiple of lambda by 2, means path difference must be even multiple of lambda by 2, and for minima or destructive interference, the condition is the path difference will be odd multiple of lambda by 2. So this is the condition for getting maxima and minima, and we will get maximum minimum intensity distribution finally, or I have told you about that earlier. So this is the condition of maximum intensity, minimum intensity. Now we can also calculate the ratio of minimum to maximum intensity or maximum to minimum intensity, which will be I maximum to I minimum, the value of a plus b whole square upon a minus b whole square. Okay, clear? If we know the individual amplitudes of light wave, then we can easily calculate I maximum to I minimum, and this will help you to solve numerical formula in future. Okay. Now let's study about some more interference pattern on fringe width. So what will be the fringe width? As we got some fringes of this type. This is dark fringe, bright fringe, again dark fringe. So what is the fringe width of these types of band? So we can easily calculate fringe width also from the theory of interference. See how. Let's start the interference and energy conservation. So as we know that law of conservation of energy holds for every point in the universe, means the energy of universe is constant. So if the energy is constant, then definitely there is the redistribution of light, there is interference of light. Then after interference is really intensity or energy is going to be reduced or increased or not. Like I'm saying that in the interference process, at certain point there is maximum intensity and certain point there is minimum intensity. Means intensity is going on increasing and intensity is going on decreasing. So we can see it from the expression of simply energy or intensity from the calculation I have done in Young's slit experiment, and I have done in coherent and incoherent sources, addition of light sources. Okay. So firstly see second term. When no interference, means for the incoherent case, we have seen that simply in incoherent source there is no interference, means the energy, intensity of resultant wave, means after superposition what will be the resultant wave intensity, which will be simply the sum of intensities of individual light waves, simply I1 plus I2. If you want to write it in the form of amplitude, then you can also write I1 is directly proportional to amplitude square and I2 is also directly proportional to amplitude square. So if you remove proportionality, then definitely you will get some constant here, K. So this will be the last answer. Okay. So this is the intensity when sources are incoherent or when there is no interference between light sources. And this term, as we have seen the case of Young's double slit experiment, then we got maximum intensity and we got minimum intensity. Means there is a redistribution of intensity of light, redistribution of energy of light. Then definitely we can find out the average energy, average intensity of the light. So I average will be I maximum plus I minimum. Simple. And if you will solve this, like the value of I maximum you know is K A plus B whole square, and the value of I minimum is K A minus B whole square. So after solving we will get this value K A square plus B square, and this is exactly same for as the incoherent case. Means whether it is coherent source or incoherent source, the total intensity or total energy of the light wave will never be changed. Means the energy must be constant, energy will be constant whether the source is incoherent or source is coherent. Means the law of conservation of energy is followed by here also. So don't think that if there is a minimum or maximum intensity, then definitely there will be the change in energy. No, energy is always constant whether the source is coherent or incoherent. So now start next topic, which is fringe width. So let's start. So the next topic is expression for the fringe width in interference. This is also called the theory of interference. So to determine the fringe width, means what will be the bandwidth of maxima or minima. So for this, let a source S, which is monochromatic and it emits light, and let A and B are two secondary wave fronts which are acting as source, and these are also coherent light source. So definitely light emitting from here will, if they will superpose, then definitely they will give us fringe pattern, just like Young's double slit experiment. So let us suppose one light is going to this point, point C, and other one ray is going to at point P. So if they are reaching point P and point C, then definitely we will have some fringe pattern, some fringe shift. So what will be the fringe width in that case? So simply if you want to calculate fringe width, then we have to calculate this distance x. Means this is the point of central maxima, and we have to calculate the distance of central maxima to this point P. Then after that we can easily formulate what will be the fringe width of the interference pattern. So at that time we don't know P is the point of maxima or minima. At least C will be the point of maxima always, because you are saying that the light reaching to point C are in the same phase, and they have no phase difference, they have equal path difference. So that's why there will be no interference, and definitely they will give uniform illumination. So the point C is the point of maxima, and we call it central maxima. So let's study about the point P. So at point P, what will be the path difference between these two rays? So simply path difference will be BP minus AP. BP minus AP. Simple. So to calculate BP and AP, we have two triangles, APE and BPF. So we have to use only these two triangles to calculate. So for the calculation we have so many things. Firstly, let the separation between these two sources is small d, which we can easily measure. Let the separation between source and screen is capital D, and let the distance of this point P from central maxima is x. Then definitely these two distances will be d by 2. So PE will be x minus d by 2, PF will be x plus d by 2. So we can easily calculate. So let's use trigonometrical concept to calculate AP. So what will be the AP? AP is hypotenuse. So definitely this will be the sum of A square plus PE square. You can write it and you can solve it. Since the value of A is d and PE is x minus d by 2, then we can also solve it by binomial expansion of first order. So if we will solve it by binomial expansion, what will we get? I am going to erase it. We will get AP equal to D 1 plus 1 upon 2D square x minus d by 2 whole square. Clear? Similarly, we can also find the value of BP. So in triangle BPF, BP equal to BF whole square plus PF whole square worth 1 by 2. Or we can also write d square plus x plus d by 2 whole square or 1 by 2. Do the same process here. Let's common this portion d. Then we will get 1 plus 1 by d square plus d by 2. Actually we are doing this to use binomial expansion of first order. So we can simply multiply this term here for the expansion. Then we will get d plus 1 upon 2d square x plus d by 2 whole square. So now we have AP and BP. So after calculation we will get the value of path difference, which is xd upon d. Now we can impose this condition on the condition of constructive interference and destructive interference, or maxima or minima. So firstly, for maxima or constructive interference, we know the condition for the maxima is path difference is equal to integral multiple of lambda, or in simple word you can say even multiple of lambda by 2. So after solving we can get the value of x from here, where n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. Okay. So this value is the distance of point P from the central maxima point C. So we can also get what will be the first order maxima, second order maxima, third order maxima. So the first maximum point we will get at center, and we can also see it from here. For the value of n equal to 0, x will be 0, means point C. So definitely point C is the point of maxima. Second, point B, for n equal to 1, we have x1 equal to lambda d by d, and we call it first maxima or first bright fringe. Similarly, we can also get for n equal to 2, for n equal to 3, for n equal to 4, or for n equal to n, and we will get finally xn equal to, means for equal to n, xn equal to n lambda d by d. This is the generalized form of where n represents the number of, or in simple way you can say it, order of interference fringe. This is called the order of interference fringe. If the value of n is 1, then we call it first order. Value of n is 2, then we call it second order. So similarly we can get first order maxima, second order maxima, third order maxima, and a third order maxima, and so on. So if we want to get fringe width, means the distance between two bright maxima or the distance between two dark minima. So what will be the distance between two bright maxima? We can find out it from these two equations. Simply take the difference of first bright maxima and second bright maxima. This will be x2 minus x1, and we can also get it delta x or beta. I am assigning a new term beta to it, which is called fringe width. So beta will be, if you will solve it, then you will get lambda d by d. So this is the fringe width for the bright maxima or bright point, bright fringes, whatever you want to say. And you will obtain it, if you will get the value of x3 minus x2, x4 minus x3, then you will get the same difference. Means the width of bright fringes are equal, and they are equally spaced, they are equally distributed to away the central maxima. I think clear है. Then हम second point पे चलते हैं. For the minima, what will be the condition for minima? So let's see. For minima or for destructive interference. So as you know that for minima, the path difference of the light between light wave is odd multiple of lambda by 2. So you can write also here. Okay. Now for the maxima, we have the condition that the path difference will be odd multiple of lambda by 2. Then we can also write this x from here, means the point P will be point of minimum intensity if the distance of point P from point C is this. Simple. And now we can also obtain so many orders of dark fringes or minimum intensity fringes, or you can call also it minima. So we can also calculate. So there will be no, actually keep one thing in your mind. Then n should must not be 0 here, because for n equal to 0 we have already central maxima bright fringes. So for n equal to 0 we can't ever get minimum point, because there is no path difference between the waves which are reaching to central maxima or at point C center point. So that's why we will not get any dark fringes here. Okay, I think it's clear to you. Now for n equal to 1, the first dark fringes will width of first dark fringes will be this. Similarly, we can also calculate x2, x3, x4, x5, xn as like this. Now we can also calculate the fringe width means separation between two dark fringes by simply taking the difference between any two consecutive fringe width. Like we can also take x2 minus x1 or x3 minus x2 or xn minus 1 minus xn minus 2 and so on. So I am taking actually x2 minus x1 for calculating fringe width here. So definitely after keeping this value you will get lambda d by t, and for all values, all consecutive difference, you will get the same value. Okay, and this value is same as fringe width in case of maxima. Means in Young's double slit experiment, the fringe width of maxima or minima are the same, and there is no change, means and they are equally spaced, they have equal width, only the change is what? Change is will be in their intensity. This is beta and the value of beta is lambda b by d, whether it is bright fringe or whether it is dark fringe. I think this concept is now clear to you. Then what is the fringe width and how can we calculate it for bright fringes and for the dark fringes. So let's end the class here. Thank you.